Hey cycling fans, welcome to another week of This Week in American Cycling. Brad Stoner here with Dave Toll. We are fresh off the AMGEN Tour of California, where the Americans had a great week last week here in California. We're also going to talk about some crit racing in Rochester and Wilmington, and mountain bike racing with the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup. All that coming up on This Week in American Cycling. Let's start in California, where USA Cycling had a chance to field a men's national team, and these kids took full advantage. Let's start with stage one, where Travis McCabe almost beats Peter Sagan to the line for a second place finish.
It was a drag race on his birthday, ends up in second, but it was a huge win for USA Cycling there in Sacramento. Brad, what a great start at the AMGEN Tour.
McCabe was on sprint duties, but Alex Hone was on climbing duties. We saw a great ride from the young man on loan from a Volo as he moved into the polka dot jersey on stage 3 in the King of the Mountain competition.
Yeah, Hone was amazing. This young man from Kansas dug deep on that stage into Morgan Hill. He ends up taking the King of the Mountains jersey, and again, another great example of USA Cycling punching above their weight out there this week at the AMGEN Tour.
Then it was Michael Hernandez on stage 4. He finds himself into a breakaway with 5 guys, 4 other riders, and Hernandez in the national champion, or the Stars and Stripes kit there, sorry. He's with Johnny Brown in the national championship kit, so a couple Americans in this breakaway.
Yeah, American Cycling, all its supporters had to be so proud of this young man from Florida. He has a heart of a lion. He's a product of USA Cycling's Junior National Development Program, and a great example of hard work paying off as he earns this breakaway from cancer most courageous jersey. The whole team really deserved a jersey for the work they did this week.
Defending champ Katie Hall rides her way back to the front in the women's race, this time, though, in support of Anna van der Breggen on the Boels-Dolmans team. Remember, it was 2 years ago that Katie lost this race to van der Breggen by just 1 second in time bonuses, but you know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. So Boels-Dolmans signs Katie Hall last year, and this year they use her to support van der Breggen.
Yeah, you know, the team Boels-Dolmans has always been really welcoming for American. Skylar Schneider on that squad, but it looks like Katie Hall really fitting in. It's great to have an American over there full-time in the European trenches.
Overall, a successful week for the Americans at Tour of California. Rough week for TJ Van Garderen. He loses the yellow jersey, but the Americans on the national team and Katie Hall had a great week. Crit Racing makes a stop in Rochester, New York for the 5th stop of the Pro Road Tour. Becca Wysack gets a win there out of a field sprint. No surprise for the Australian sprinter. And a big win for First Internet Bank with Robert Sroka. They were incredibly excited about that result. So that puts them into 2nd overall in the team competition for First Internet Bank at 338 points behind Elevate KHS at 621. After that, it was on to the Wilmington Grand Prix, stop number 6 up in Delaware. Here we saw Peter Mullins take a win for the women's field and a big win from Thomas Gibbons on the men's side, but that really didn't change much in the PRT standings as James Piccoli stays at the top of the leaderboard and Chloe Diger-Owen at the top of the women's board.
100 points, really right now, the advantage that Chloe has on any other rider out there. She's been so consistent this year. You take a look then at Krista Doble-Hickok, who's sitting in 2nd. She's been climbing really well. And then Tour of the Gila winner, Brody Chapman. She's sitting in 3rd, so the Australian up there in the top 3.
PRT racing continues this weekend at the Winston-Salem Cycling Classic down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Finally, the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup heads to Albstadt, Germany for the first stop on the World Cup season of 2019. And a big win from the American Kate Courtney in the World Champion stripes. She cleaned up in both events, short track and cross country.
Yeah, super impressive. You know, in the World Champion stripes, they talk about that jinx you see so often, not for Kate Courtney. This NICA product out of Northern California really doing us proud.
So Courtney leads the World Cup standings as they head to Czech Republic next weekend. We'll have coverage of that for stop 2 and keep our eye on Kate Courtney. So that's it for this week in American Cycling. For Dave Toll, I'm Brad Stoner saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.